them at their attempt at trying to do like a big, you know, sort of like Mission Impossible-esque like action thriller type film with, you know, like CIA and mercenaries and that kind of stuff. And it's a weird instinct that they have where they're like, we kind of need to make like, you know, a more classical kind of genre film, but also like all of the tricks and skills that we learned came from the Marvel machine. So they're just making like the worst possible versions of those kinds of movies. Like honestly, The Gray Man and Cherry, I think, are worse than their Marvel movies. Oh yeah. Maybe because they just shouldn't be making, they should be letting someone else make those movies, letting someone else direct those movies. And that's where the Extraction movies kind of come in. And I'm like, you know what? I think Hargrave is not a bad little filmmaker. Totally. And the thing that really hits about his stuff is that, you know, like the action is very much in the Chad Stahelski mode, but I said in my review that it's like without any of the class or style of it. Like there's none of the amazing production design or the amazing sort of sense of like film history that Stahelski has with like referencing, you know, some of the old Leone stuff or bringing Donnie Yen in or that kind of like, it is just pure, brutal, just like bad taste, disgusting action stuff is what he's interested in doing. And the thing that blows my mind is from what I understand, he was the stunt coordinator for the Russos. And I'm like, you guys had this guy working for you when you were making the Marvel movies the entire time? How did the action scenes not look like this?
I know. It is kind of wild.
Like they have to just be bad directors. Like that just has to have been what happened.
Yeah, because like every time that they've been behind a story or writing, although that is usually the weaker part of it if they are behind that.
I was gonna say even the stuff in this, the writing of like the history of the Georgian gangsters and, you know, like dead, you know, Chris Hemsworth gets introduced to have like trauma from a dead kid and all of this, and it's so just like,
and the way that the plot moves generic with things is really contrived. Like the kid is written to be like, the son is written to be just one of the
kid he's actually extracting characters. So whiny and annoying.
And dumb. Like it's just like there's a point where I understand what they're trying to do, where essentially he has this father who is in prison, and they have been pretty much brought there as a family so he could be close to his family while he's in prison. And the extraction is to get the family out. And the conflict between the son and the father is that the son still thinks of the father as like, you know, a father figure and someone that he should have in his life. But there's just it's shown
he's also an internationally renowned like Georgian gangster who
openly murders and does horrifying things, and it just at a certain
abuses his mother.
That too, and even puts his son's life in jeopardy. And then you have this, you have to have the plot device in the middle of it when he does extract them, and we can talk about the first extraction scene in the prison, which is
like
cool.
The best. It's going to be one of the strongest action scenes that we maybe see this year.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. But then of course he's just got the whole thing is they get into this warehouse or this penthouse where they're safe, and the movie would be over theoretically, and the son is like, wait, there's an hour left. We need a finale here. So the son just like basically calls up the dad and is like, we're in the penthouse, come get us.
Well, he calls up, because his dad dies during the extraction, right? So they call up the dad's uncle? They call up his uncle, who is another Georgian gangster. But it's the same deal where he goes, you know, Chris Hemsworth killed my dad, my really terrible dad, and I actually feel more of a family, not with my mom and my sister, but with the Georgian gangsters and this terrible uncle that I have. But when it's like, we still have an hour of movie left. No, not at all. He literally just calls and like rats out his mom and his sister and himself, even though every single one of them goes, those guys don't care about you. Like, they're just going to show up here and they're just going to murder all of us, which is true. Like, the second they show up, they just start unleashing ammo even at the kid. And it's a very, very contrived scenario in order to come up with action set pieces like that. It's literally all loosely strung together so that they could have two big location set pieces, and in that regard, you know, like the set pieces are worth it, but yeah, you definitely can't help but feel like on like a character level and a writing level that there's no reason for this to exist. This literally just is a Hargrave showcase and a Hemsworth showcase a little bit. Some of the physicality and stunts he gets to pull off in this, and honestly some of his crew. The woman Golshifteh Farhani, who's actually the wife in the Jim Jarmusch and Adam Driver film Patterson, which I really love. I love that film a lot. And I was she was in the first Extraction too, but she actually carries her own pretty well in these movies, I thought. And the action scenes in particular are kind of like all where it's at, because I was zoning out every single time they were like stopping dead in their tracks to do like a dour character conversation, this
family drama shit. Yeah, I didn't care at all.
and like his wife is played by Olga from the Bond girl from fucking Quantum of Solace. I haven't seen her in a while. She's the one who like hires him through Idris Elba to, you know, basically like get his former sister-in-law out of the situation that he's in. And Chris Hemsworth just like takes the opportunity to do it in like some of the craziest ways that he possibly can, reprising his role as the famously named Tyler Rake, which is just amazing. I will say, I don't know who came up with that one. I love saying it. I was watching it with my buddy, and every single time we were watching it, we were just going, "You got this, Tyler Rake. Let's go, Tyler Rake. Let's fucking go, man." He's
every time,
you know, to rip another human body apart, like that bit when he has the fight with the dad in like the subterranean aspect of the prison that they're breaking them out of, and he grabs him by two fingers in like each hand and literally just tears his hand in half.